All right, so once you have staging turned on, what you can do is you can turn on what's called page versions, or I call them page variations sometimes. Essentially what this does is it allows you the ability to create Git-like branches that you can work with your pages. So if you're familiar with Git, Git allows you to have a master branch, okay? So that's going to be where all of the sort of approved changes have gone, and then you can branch off of that. So you can copy that into a new branch, make some modifications, get it reviewed, and then once it has been reviewed, you can actually merge it back into the master branch. So it becomes part of the approved master branch, okay? So you can do that with page variations or page versions as well, okay? Now page versions are gonna be a little bit different in that we can either do content updates or we can just do parallel content, okay? So the examples of this might be, let's say a seasonal variation if you wanna have a new theme, some new content, some promotionals for, let's say, the Christmas season. So Christmas with Livingston or something along those lines. We could go ahead and create a page version for those changes, and we can keep that in parallel. So perhaps we can set it up so that they publish and then unpublish after a certain period of time or something along those lines, okay? And we'll look at scheduling in the next video, okay? So this gives you a lot of power and a lot of flexibility with your ability to manage staging, okay? Now there are two types of versions or variations that you can work with. There are page variations and there are site page variations. So this is just going to be basically a tool that gives you the ability to do a individual page variation. So let's say if I wanted to do a seasonal variation or seasonal version, I could just do it for just the front page. That would be a page version or variation. Or if I wanted to do it for multiple pages on my site, I could go ahead and do a site pages variation, okay? It's the site pages variations that allow you to merge some of those updates into a master branch. So keep that in mind as well, okay? So let's look just at a basic example here for a Bali offer that we have for the Livingston Hotels and Resorts, and how we can use page variations to distinguish that from our main set of pages, okay? Let's go ahead and do that together. All right, so make sure you are on the front page of the Livingston Hotel and Resort site, okay? We have staging turned on and we have the variations turned on, okay? Like I mentioned, it's the variations that give me the ability to have workflow working in tandem with staging as well. So keep that in mind. If you do want to have the full business review process, it's going to be these variations that allow us to do so, okay? All right, but let's go ahead and click on the options menu, and we're gonna go ahead and click on page variations. Again, so there's page variations and site page variations. You can see history here. I'll actually talk about that in a little bit as well. Click on page variations. And let's go ahead and add a new page variations by clicking add page variations here. And let's name it the Bali offer. Okay, if you haven't been to Bali, it's awesome. Go ahead and click on add. All right, and we can go ahead and close the pop-up here. All right, so this gives us a distinct branch, if you will, of our set of pages. Okay, so right now it's gonna be exactly the same, but we can switch it up. So instead of having the Bavarian offer, we can go ahead and add a Bali offer here, okay? All right, so in addition to the Bavarian offer here, we can add a very simple Bali offer, okay? Now, just for the sake of the quick example, we're just gonna do a really quick grid, and we're gonna add that onto our page here as well, so we can see how this is gonna differ from our main site. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll up and click add, and open the widgets menu here. Open highlighted, and just go ahead and drag a web content display between the banner and the Bavarian special offer. So once we have it on the page, go ahead and come to the top right. You will see the add button here. So go ahead and click on add and basic web content. Okay. So this is one way of being able to add content onto the page without having to first do it in the site administration panel. Okay. So go ahead and type in visit beautiful Bali. All right, and let's click on the options section here. Click on the add button. and go ahead and choose the grid option. Okay. All right, we're going to keep 3 rows and 3 columns, so go ahead and just click check. And again, this is just going to be a simple example to show the variations. Okay. So in the top left, go ahead and do special offers. Underneath that, go ahead and do package 1. Underneath that, do package 2. Okay. Go ahead and click into the middle column. Okay, it's going to be a little bit small right now, but we can go ahead and start typing in here. So we have price. Go ahead and do the middle column, middle row, and we'll do 500. And we'll do 900. Okay, and then we'll go to the top right and do number of days. Okay, we'll do the middle right and we'll do 4, and the middle or the bottom right and we'll do 10. Okay, so again, this is just a very, very simple example. It gives us some basic content. We can just throw this on the page and see how these variations are working. Okay, let's go ahead and click publish. And now we have our new grid on the page. Okay. And now we can go ahead and hop between the 2 variations to see what this looks like. Okay, so click on the page variations. If I jump over to the main variation, I will not see my grid. Okay, and then if I jump over to the Bali offer, I can now see my grid here. Okay, so it does keep them actually distinct. They are different sets of pages. And like I said, if you are using site page variations, you actually have the ability to go ahead and merge the variations. Okay, we don't see those here. We just have edit and delete. Okay, but if we were to work with our site page variations, we can actually merge them. So in the case where we wanted to make the Bali offer something that was more consistent, we could go ahead and merge that in if we just use the other option. Okay, but for now, for our purposes, we can just click the switcher here, and then we can go ahead and click publish to live. Okay, and this will allow us to publish the Bali offer. Okay, and publish to live. So this is publishing a new variation or a new version. Okay, and if I click on live, I can see that. And I could go ahead and even test switching between the 2 by publishing the main variation as well. So once that offer is complete, I could go ahead and click on the main variation and do the same thing. I can click on the switcher here, click publish to live, and make the change. Okay, and it's just going to go ahead and revert back to what we had before. Okay. Now what we also see is the history. Okay, we have the ability to perform rollbacks. Okay, by taking advantage of the history for the different variations. Okay, so if we do all page variations, I'll see all of the history. All right, and we can actually go back and mark any version here, anywhere in the history, as ready for publication and actually publish that history. Okay, so keep that in mind. If something rolls out on accident or it turns out that it wasn't supposed to roll out when it did, you can actually, using the page variations option, with it turned on, you can actually do full rollbacks and staging as well. Okay. All right. So that just gives you a quick example of how the page versions and variations work. Feel free to play around with this a bit, create your own variations. You can test the site pages merge options if you're interested as well. Okay. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about automating our publication using the scheduling option in the advanced publication.